Guys, YouTube is weird sometimes. Not really sure what happened there. It just kind of stopped working for me. I looked over and it said that your live stream has ended. I have no idea why. I didn't tell it to end, but that's what happened. While I'm here in Clarksville, yeah, we're back. Not sure what happened. Sometimes these live streams on YouTube can give you some trouble. Helps if you have other people working on it with you, but as you guys know, all by myself here. I'm in Clarksville. Not gonna mess with the drone because I'm trying to get to Frankfort, but pretty strong stench over here, man. Muddy.
If you go in
Jeffersonville?
yeah, there's already one street already. It's now actually like
Oh, a street is flooded out in Jeffersonville?
yeah, there's one street which is already starting.
Wow.
Yeah,
I'll have to...
It's gonna be like still like 3 feet or 2.5 meters to go up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, but there's already one street over there which is like
That's crazy.
yeah.
I was just up north in Columbus, Indiana,
Yeah.
and the rivers up there are pretty high too. A lot of roads are closed up there.
Columbus, what river do they have?
Columbus, Indiana?
Yeah.
It's some smaller rivers. The East Fork of the White River, they drain into the Wabash, and then the Wabash drains into the Ohio over by Evansville. But it's about an hour north of here.
Oh, okay.
And that area floods a lot. Like, it's not a huge river, but it floods quite a bit. Like, every year you can count on it flooding.
It's a part of that other one river from what do you call that one river from Indianapolis?
Indianapolis?
It has got that one river.
So that's the White River,
Yeah.
and the river that goes from Columbus is the East Fork of the White River, and that actually flows into the White River, which then flows into the Wabash, and then the Ohio over by Evansville. Yeah.
What's crazy is they got the gates going. So everything on this side, 65 is flowing fast.
Yeah.
Over here, all this crap, trash, and all that stuff seems like on this side, it's not going slow.
Does it keep rising?
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna keep on rising.
Yeah.
Because it has to go another 2.5 meters.
Do you know when it's supposed to crest here? Wednesday? Interesting. Because I know Cincinnati, I think they said it crested like yesterday at like 60 feet.
Oh, okay.
Something like that.
Yeah, it should be Wednesday. It's either tomorrow night, going to Wednesday, but definitely Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yeah, definitely Wednesday.
Yeah, it looks pretty nasty right now, that's for sure.
Man, when was it before it actually started rising up? You see by the railroad tracks over there, you know, you can, when was it? On Saturday, because you could actually still walk down. There was a dead cow over there.
Dead cow?
Yeah.
Floating in the river?
No, it was just...
Was it washed up from the river though? Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
What is that? Do you see that all the way out there? There is something floating right there. There is something. I don't know what that is. Cincinnati, there's like a live webcam that caught like a dumpster floating down the river. It looks like one. And these floods are washing up all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, like if you like like seriously, I mean you can tell from here when it's from here because I haven't gone to New Albany yet, but you can tell like oh the crap. Then by the time you get to like the tracks, there's more crap. Like wow.
Yeah.
There's a decal, tires, like.
Is the cow still there?
Well, the water is recent.
Oh,
So
okay.
probably it's now.
So you think it's covered in water? Okay.
Unless if it was that heavy to a point where it's cannot be just like there. But I think the water is down.
That's insane.
Yeah, but you know the place I'm talking about? By this parking lot over here?
Yeah.
Where you go down?
Okay.
Way before you go. Then there's a fence. Then on the fence, if you go on the other side, yeah, that's where it was.
Interesting. So, right down there.
Yeah, but it's right now it's covered up, so.
I gotcha. Yeah. Well, hey, man, you take it easy.
All right. Nice
Hey,
talking.
nice talking to you. And there's all kinds of crap floating in the river here. Maybe I do want to fly the drone. Maybe I do want to fly the drone. I think I'm going to fly it. I'm doing it. There's too much crap floating in the Ohio River. I need to see what that is. And of course, I'll show you guys if I see anything. Didn't see anything, guys. Did not see anything really worth mentioning. I do need to get out to Frankfort, though, so no time to jack around. A lot of you left on the drive down here. I don't blame you. But you guys missed a giant Mountain Dew truck. In on it. Oh. Yeah, I need to get down to Frankfort. The guy was shouting something to me as I was like, look at all this. Look at all this, these dead tree branches over here. It was worse back there. Look at all that. This is New Albany. Bye, Ohio River. See you when we cross you. Yeah, I was trying to get some cool drone shots, maybe of some of the crap floating down the Ohio River. That kind of looked like a dumpster. It was like a big old metal box. Zoomed in on the camera for the live stream. I think I got a pretty good shot of it, as good as I could have with that. Would have been cool to have got that on the drone. But yeah, that's what happens with these floods. Floodwaters pick up all kinds of debris and they just carry it downstream, as you guys know. Not rocket scientists, or it's not rocket science. Apparently it's rocket science trying to say that for me right now. Trying to pronounce that. Making our way onto the 31 bridge here in Louisville. The free bridge. For those who don't know Louisville, I would say maybe about half a decade ago, or maybe a decade ago, the Louisville metro area, there were some new interstate bridges built. They rebuilt the 65 bridge and they expanded it. It's this massive highway now. And they built a new bridge crossing the Ohio River east of downtown, 265. They connected the Beltway loop around Louisville, 265. But the thing is that they tolled those interstate bridges. So the 65 bridge over the Ohio River is a tolled route. It's an electronic toll. It'll take a picture of your license plate and it'll send it to you in the mail. Same thing with the 265 bridge. So a lot of people just get off of 65 and take the 31 bridge because it's free. And it's really easy to get off of 65 and take the 31 bridge. Can't blame them. It's really easy to when you're heading south on 65. The live stream cut out so you guys couldn't really see, but you just get off of this exit, and this is part of the exit right here, and you hit a few traffic lights and you just keep going straight, and then you're back on the bridge. You're crossing the Ohio River. Like if you're heading to downtown Louisville, I mean, you don't even have to get off of this. All right, so if you're exiting 65 South and you're trying to take the 31 free bridge into Louisville, you don't even have to get off onto the surface streets. Exit ramp will take you right to the 31 bridge. So it's funny because a lot of people just take that. The problem is that it's only 2 lanes, so it's kind of congested. But yeah, just kind of funny how that happens. Like, you would think that if they wanted to toll people for crossing the bridge, they would have made it a lot harder to access the 31 bridge from 65, but no, super easy. It's actually kind of a cool bridge too. Narrow lanes, but most people drive slow-ish on here, and sometimes people are forced to drive slow on here because of the traffic. I thought I had the camera pointing the other way. I'm really focusing on driving, so that's a good thing. That I'm not focusing on getting the best camera shot. Focusing on driving, people. Yeah. What do you have to say about that? All of you who say I run stop signs and whatever. I'm focusing on driving, on safety. Sacrificing good camera shots so that I can drive safely. Yeah. And then it's really easy to just get back onto the freeway. It is really, really easy. You just turn right here, you turn right again, and then you turn right again. And there you go. And we're on our way to Frankfort. So it says we're gonna arrive in Frankfort at 4:10 p.m. Eastern time. It is 3:17, so that's good. Okay, so 1 hour. Going right by the KFC Yum Center. Is it still called that? Is it still called the KFC Yum Center? I mean, I feel like it is. Not paying attention to the signage too much because I am paying attention to driving. Oh, and the navigation, yeah, so big problem. So since my phone is being used for the live stream, I can't use my normal Google Maps. I have to rely on the built-in navigation system for Chevrolet, which is actually pretty good. It just doesn't have any real-life traffic data, so that street is closed because it's flooded right next to the Ohio River. Makes sense. All right, we'll find a different way. We'll just go south on this street for several blocks until the navigation corrects itself and comes up with a valid route. Sometimes you just have to do that. What up, people of downtown Louisville? What up? So with the other stream, we were at 100 likes. Let's try to like this video again if you haven't already. Hit that like button. I know only a few of you have joined back, so yeah, that number's around what to expect. But if you haven't, make sure to like this video. It all helps with these videos. It helps these videos get seen by others. And also, of course, if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel. And share this video too. Share this live stream. We're about to go to Frankfort, Kentucky. We're about to see some of the flooding going on there, and it's a lot. It is a lot from what I have seen. Appreciate all of you who have interacted with the video, with the live stream, with this one, with the previous one. I'm satisfied with how it's gone for the most part. I feel like I've gotten some good visuals. I mean, that's kind of what this is all about, right? And also, obviously, good thing that people are safe. Sometimes I feel insensitive, I guess, for wanting to see like flooding or whatever. But for the people who it has affected, hopefully they can get all the assistance that they need. Hopefully they can get whatever it is they need to recover from these floods, because it's not fun stuff. Me, from Louisville, if you're talking about me, I ain't from Louisville. No way. People here don't like me. I don't even say the name right. I can't say the name right. I've lived in southern Indiana. Okay, so I lived in southern Indiana for about 6 years, and I apparently cannot say the name Louisville right. Louisville? Louisville? Louisville. Louisville. There we go. Louisville. But then people still say I'm wrong. That's just annoying, yo. That's the thing about Louisville. Louisville. That's the thing. Like, they are so particular about how to say the name of the city. And it is a challenge for anyone who's not from here. And if you don't say it exactly right, they're going to give you crap for it. It's annoying. People in New Orleans don't really care if you say New Orleans or Nolans or New Orleans. I don't really feel like they care. I know people in Detroit, there's some people who care if you say Detroit or Detroit, but most people don't care. I don't know. Louisville. I feel like 64 heading west from here is going to be a nightmare, but there's no other way to take. There's no other way to take to Frankfort from here other than to take 64 west. And it's going to suck. And there's nobody, so I'm going to do this. Yeah. Yep. All right. Not having live traffic data is kind of a problem in this situation. Huh. All right. Bruh, let me tell you something, bruh. I drove down from Michigan at, what was it? 3 a.m. So it's been a long day, all right? So you're right, it is east. But whatever. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about, yes. 64 is east. Taking 64 east from Louisville to Frankfort, yes. Not west, east. Gotta try to find an on-ramp to the freeway, though, that is not closed for construction first. My goodness. And I don't have the live traffic data, so yeah. The good news We back? We good? We back? We back? I didn't do anything. I just sat here and waited. Doing good. Good. Stuck in traffic on 64 East, just like I thought there would be. Traffic jam, rush hour, evening. Louisville has some weird hills and whatnot. Maybe that's it. Going in and out of some of the hills. Maybe certain spots are blocked. I see a cell phone tower straight ahead of me. You'll see it soon on the camera. But I saw someone say, I don't know what kind of cell service Chris has, but it must be the worst. I have Verizon Wireless, which is one of the best, so I don't know. Is that what happened last time? Is that what happened last time? Is that why the first one, did it just crap out? Makes sense. Because on my end, all I saw was one viewer, and the thing just kept rolling. It looked like it was showing great video quality, just kind of like it looks like right now. I guess I can watch it back later and look, but yeah, I just had one viewer for, I don't know, 30, 40 minutes, and then it just crapped out and said your live stream is done. And I guess it makes sense. Went through some sparsely populated rural areas in southern Indiana, so I guess it makes sense. Maybe I need to get Starlink. I would need to make use of that, though. I would need to do these live streams like at least once a month to get my worth out of a Starlink. That'd be a lot. I am in Louisville, Kentucky, on 64 East in the middle of rush hour evening traffic, just trying to get through the city so I can get to Frankfort, Kentucky. It's funny, you would think the left lane would be the faster lane with everyone exiting and entering the freeway with the right lane, but nope, it's the right lane that's fast. And oh, well, that's why it says right lane closed. I didn't know. I feel like a douche for doing that. It says right lane closed 1 mile. That's why. Construction. Ah! I used to do traffic reports in this city before I started doing YouTube and whatever. My job before this was a traffic reporter on the radio. Under an overpass, might be here for a little bit, might lose cell phone service. But yeah, 64 and 65 both suck through Louisville. 64 more so. From what I remember. I forget a lot about that job, honestly. I don't remember a whole lot, come to think about it, with like traffic patterns with all the cities. I used to have it down. Used to have to do traffic reports for Louisville, for Cincinnati, for Detroit, for Grand Rapids, for Cleveland, Columbus, Ohio, Toledo, Ohio, Dayton, Huntington, West Virginia even, Erie, Pennsylvania even, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania a few times. I think Chicago. I did Chicago a couple times. It wasn't really that often. Louisville. So yeah, Detroit was a regional hub for the company I worked for. They just did traffic reports for multiple radio stations throughout the US, and they have different hubs throughout the country. So Detroit was one, Chicago's one. Chicago, I know they were in charge of Indianapolis. They're probably in charge of Milwaukee. They're probably in charge of Des Moines, Iowa, I'm guessing. I don't know who all they were in charge of. There was Chicago, there was Detroit, Dallas, Fort Worth was a hub, New York City a hub, Philadelphia is a hub, Los Angeles is a hub. So yeah, there's probably about 10 different hubs throughout the country for that. iHeartMedia, Traffic, Total Traffic and Weather Networks. The only reason I know of Brandon, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. I don't want to try because I don't want to say it wrong. I've seen a few other things from him recently just because of that, but that's the only reason why I know who he is. I haven't heard of him before this. I mean, I'm not like big into the storm chasing community. I just don't have time to do that, nor do I have really the desire to just give up everything in my life and just drop everything and go follow and chase everything. But for those who do, hey, that's awesome. Live it up. So he kind of came out of nowhere last year. Well, that would make sense why I haven't heard of him. I honestly don't know of a lot of storm chasing. I'm very interested in documenting the damage from a lot of these storms, as long as it's not like too crazy of a drive, or if it fits into my schedule like this one did. I think it's very interesting to document these storms and the damage from them. But like to be in Florida during Hurricane Helene, or to be in Florida during Hurricane Milton, or to be in North Carolina during Hurricane Helene, no, I'm good. I can watch everybody else do that. I think it'd be cool to see a tornado once or twice, maybe. I think that'd be cool. Otherwise, I'm mostly interested in tornadoes when they're affecting people that I know, if that makes sense. I do like watching Reed Timber, though. He's very entertaining. And I may or may not have been tuning into his live streams throughout this entire. Man, sleep and going epic. That last day that they were storm chasing, I think that was 2 days ago. That's how I found out about him, was through the Storm Chasers show. And I got really attached to that show pretty quickly because I want to say either the first or second episode, or maybe it was towards the end of the first season. It was pretty early on. It was in the first season. Can't remember which episode exactly. They tracking down a tornado right next to the town that I used to live in, out in Kansas. And that pretty much is what got me hooked. And then Reed came along, and it was a very entertaining show. I will say this, there were some tornadoes that came close to some people that I knew over the last few weeks. And I would not have known about those tornadoes being that close to the people that I knew if it wasn't for watching Reed Timmer's streams. Does a really good job with coverage throughout the entire country, no matter where there is any kind of severe weather, and really appreciate him. I haven't even really watched Ryan Hall, y'all. Haven't even really watched him at all. I know he's really successful with his channel, but I just haven't. Not because I have anything against or anything, I just haven't done it. Because usually if there's something going on, Reed's got it on his channel, and I don't know, I guess I'm already a fan of Reed's. Traffic has finally picked up, but of course it slows back down. All right, let's maneuver through this madness. How's the stream doing, guys? Is it good? Is it bad? Connection good? Audio good? about a half hour away from Frankfort. So, yeah, almost there. Half hour away. As long as there's no traffic disruptions, half hour away. When am I touring the outskirts of Detroit? Sporadically, as we go forward. I'll have a video out here and there. Not today, that's right, not today. I'm assuming you mean like suburbs and stuff. Yeah, here and there. I really want to make more journalistic type of videos where it's on trending topics, because those have done really well for me. Sometimes there's not an opportunity to do that within like a couple of months, but like the Franklin, Indiana video, that video did really well for me. So there needs to be something to talk about, whether it's some kind of investigation going on, some kind of corruption, or some kind of in this case, flooding event. I don't know if I upload a video on this, if, like with main quality and everything, I don't know if it'll do well for me or not, honestly. Last time I did a weather thing on Hurricane Helene, that didn't do good at all. That did not do as good as I thought it was going to. That doesn't mean I'm not going to do that in the future. I was just really disappointed. I'll probably still make content like this in the future, but like really just news stories, and they're out there. I just need to find them and try to put together a plan to try to incorporate that into my upload schedule, and also try to be economic with these trips, with traveling, because I have a budget here. It's not like I have 1 million subscribers and I have like 500,000 views on every video. So I got a budget here. It is what it is. But the channel continues to grow. I like what it's become. I'm excited for what it can continue to be. Yeah. It'll happen. like a 12-second delay or maybe a 15-second delay between the live stream and what you guys see. And also with the chat that I get. So maybe you type something and I don't get it until later. It's either one of the two or it's both. But if the stream is still good, let me know. I'm going in and out of some hills here in Kentucky, so let me know if the stream is still good. If you can hear me, let me know. If you can see me, let me know. Saw that. Saw you saying that the stream is good. That's good to know. Alright, so I am almost in Frankfort, Kentucky. In about 10 minutes. Or 15 minutes. I'll be in Frankfort in 15 minutes, and we will see what the Kentucky River looks like in Frankfort at that time. we made it. We made it to Frankfort, Kentucky. That was a long trek, felt like to me. Once we get to the set spot, I'm going to check things out and fly the drone if there's an opportunity to do so. Last time I looked at Google Maps for Frankfurt, there was a major route that was closed. It was a part of the bypass for the city on the northwest side. It's closed for flooding. Right now, we're on high ground, so everything looks normal. But when you get down into the heart of the city, that's where I am expecting to see some flooding. And if this thing has me set for a route that is valid in terms of there not being a road closure up here, then we're all good to go. This navigator, once again, does not use real-life traffic data like Google Maps or an Apple Maps. I'm using this because my phone is being used for the live stream. So we'll see. Was that question directed for me? My favorite musical groups, my favorite music artists? It changes all the time. I don't know why, but I'll listen to a band or an artist for months in a row, then I'll get tired of that artist and then I'll switch. It's like on rotation, like a consistent pattern of rotation every several months. Right now I've been listening to a lot of Disturbed. I don't know why. I've always liked the beat to their music, and I've always liked Eminem. Always been a big fan of Eminem. Otherwise, I don't listen to a lot of music other than Nostalgia Tours Radio, of course. I listen to a lot of sports talk radio. Yeah, I'm one of those guys. Music-wise, I'm down for whatever as long as the beat is good. If it has a good beat, I'm down for a lot. It is pretty, but we're gonna come around this bend and we might see some flooding. Yup. Wait, is that even... Yeah, that water's really high. Yeah. Straight ahead up here too on the right. Water over the road right there. Road over here to the right, Taylor Avenue, is closed for the flooding. Water over here. Got water to the right, water to the left, water straight ahead. Water everywhere. Look how close that is to the railroad bridge. Man, I saw someone that just asked if flooding is regular for Frankfort. That I do not know. I do know that it is regular for the area that I was showcasing earlier today, Columbus. I do not know if it is this regular for Frankfort. All right. Couldn't tell if that guy was gonna stop, let me go, couldn't tell. All right. Yeah, buddy, we got some flooding here in Frankfort, and it's bad. Guys, I'm going to launch the drone right here. I'm not right next to the river or anything, but I'm just going to launch the drone right here just to see if I can see anything. hard to focus this camera in. That's what I'm looking at right now. Want to show you guys what I'm looking at here, of course. That didn't look good. Did not look good for a lot of homes on the other side of the Kentucky River from here. I will show you what I shot. Thanks to all of those who are still watching. Much appreciated by me. Make sure you hit that like button if you haven't already. Helps these videos get seen by more people. Share the video too if you feel inclined to do so. Guys, let me show you what I just shot with the drone. Guys, this camera setup sometimes. So it opened the camera app, and the camera app was pointed towards the screen, but then I looked at the live, I noticed that it was in the camera app and not on the YouTube app, and it was pointed at my face. Oh my gosh. All right, here we go. This is what I was able to shoot from the drone. Sorry for the glare, only so much I can do there. Tried to block it out as much as I could. Look at these homes. There's more of those buildings back there, and I get more of that later on. Right there, I was focusing on that large stick floating down the river. And look at that. I don't know if that's an old railroad bridge that's not in use, if that's a pedestrian bridge. I'm not sure what that is. I do not know this area. I know I made a video on Frankfort back in the day. A few years ago, I came here and made a video. But I haven't been here too many times, so I can't go over everything like I can with Columbus. But yeah, look how close that water is to the bridge. That is insane. This is what Frankfurt's dealing with right now. This is what they're dealing with. And look at this neighborhood back here. Look at that. At this point, I don't know what that is that's floating in the river right there, but I was focusing on it for a little bit, of course. And so right now, the drone camera is facing northwest of downtown Frankfurt. I'm not looking at a map. Okay, I am. All right. So that's like Taylor Avenue. All right. I can't say for certain what neighborhood or what street I was looking at there. I can't. Frankfurt has a lot of winding little streets and circle around in weird ways because of the terrain here. So I'm not sure what that was. Let me see. Okay. That was this neighborhood right here. That was Bell Point. Okay. Yep, that's what that was, the Bell Point neighborhood. That place. Got drenched, unfortunately. Man. So yeah, Frankfort has it a lot worse than southern Indiana, and a lot of that has to do with the terrain of Kentucky. The terrain of Kentucky, man, is so rugged. So rugged, and whenever there's like torrential downpours like what Kentucky has seen, the riverways are just going to just load up with water because there's so many slopes here in Kentucky to drain the water into the creeks and into the rivers, and then they're just gonna start flowing. They're gonna have the currents are gonna have a really strong flow to them for that reason alone, and that's why things are so bad here. And I'm also guessing that Kentucky got a lot more rain than Indiana did. So, I mean, it was the entire state of Kentucky. Basically, when I looked at the maps before coming down here yesterday, it was the entire state of Kentucky that was under a flood warning. Every single county, it looked like. So the National Weather Service will issue out these warnings for counties on their website. And you can go and search for the latest warnings for the National Weather Service. And it'll have different shades for different warnings. The entire state of Kentucky was the same color of green for a not flash flood, but just for a flood warning. So yeah, if you live in Frankfort and you're up on the high ground, you're up on the hills, I'm sure you're fine. But if you do live in Frankfort, I'm gonna take a wild guess and say that you probably know somebody that's being affected by these floods in one way or another. Yeah, the road straight ahead is closed. So the road, US 421, Wilkinson Boulevard, straight ahead from downtown, is closed due to flooding. And that stretch of 421 is on the opposite side of the Kentucky River from the Bell Point neighborhood. So that's what we're dealing with. That's what Frankfort, I should say, is dealing with. Come on, you hill jack, make up your mind. And that person just went on a red light. Wow, look at how close that guy got to that truck. Oh my goodness. That's not good behavior right there. I mean, he's a hill jack, but come on now. Don't be putting yourself at danger there. Wow. All right. Here's the entrance to the neighborhood that we just saw. Blocked off, obviously. And here it is. There it is. It's right there. There you go. think there's another live TV newscast going on up there, just like in Columbus. Not much else going on over here. Tearing up a building there, not sure what that was. Looks like that was unrelated to the flooding. Is this an exercise ball? Is this just a random exercise ball sitting out here? I think it is. Got a random exercise ball here in Frankfort. Might have been part of the flood debris or something, I don't know. I was gonna go up there. It looks like they're doing a newscast, so. But up there you could get a view of the Kentucky River and don't want to bother them. Now, I was too busy trying to figure some other things out earlier, but I saw a couple fighting here in Frankfort when we were still up on the high ground in the parking lot of the fast food restaurant. I almost put the camera over towards them, but too many other things going on. Traffic, trying to figure out more important things. But it's funny to watch. Wish I could have had the camera pointed over towards it. Wonder what they were fighting over. Chicken nuggets? Mountain Dew? Tacos? Mountain Dew and chicken nuggets is my guess. What they were fighting over. Oh my goodness. This river is not supposed to be this high at all. Oh man. This is bad. Oh, and there's something floating in the river way over there. Hard to tell what it is. Something floating in the river way back there. See that? See that black thing floating in the river all the way back there? All kinds of things floating in the river. House back there. Clearly, some of that house is below the water level there. You know, seeing this, you can easily see how houses will get swept up in this, and some of the footage that you've seen of like roofs floating down rivers. Yeah, this is why. It's because these are some real mad raging rivers here from all the rainfall. You can see everyone's coming to this park to see it. I don't blame them. I mean, it's quite the spectacle. That is something to see, no doubt. All right, got to get over to Cincinnati now before the sun gets too low. Part of that could be from man-made problems. Some of that could have been part of that could have been, you know, to blame on man-made destruction over the years, possibly. I also think this would have happened, like, let's say nobody ever lived here. I think it's just natural for this area, for this region. Honestly, I think it's just a natural thing. Let's see. A lot of the damage in Kentucky was further west, over towards like Paducah and Owensboro, and then south of there in some of the small towns along some of the rivers over there. But I didn't think I was going to be able to make it all the way out there. Try to be economical with these trips, and you know, that would have been really hard to do. That would have been hard to have gone to Columbus, all the way out to Evansville, all the way, you know, go south from there, and then head all the way east. I know some of the parkways in Kentucky, so, you know, some of the Kentucky versions of interstates are closed for flooding. At least they were yesterday, heading through the state. That would have been hard to cut across the state. But yeah, that was something. The Kentucky River up there here in Frankfort. Right now I'm trying to navigate river. See how far away of a drive it says. Good thing is that rush hour should be done by the time we get there, and even if it wasn't, we'd be going the opposite direction of rush hour. So now it has me taking this windy road. I think it's US 127. It has me taking US 127, which is a windy road through some hills just north of here. I think I'm gonna get back on 64 and then over to 75. Yeah, I don't want to mess with that. I'm sure there would be stuff to see, but there also might be closures, and I'm doing a live stream here that's dependent on cell phone service. So I don't think that would be very good. We are headed towards Cincinnati. The nasty natty. All right. We're gonna get there by taking 64 east to 75 north in Lexington. Now, I'm not sure if there might be. I don't know. I honestly don't know if there's a ramp from 64 east to 75 north. I used to do traffic for Lexington, so when I worked at the radio stations, Lexington was included, and I don't know if there is. I mean, you would think there would be, but I don't know. Sometimes things are weird. I can't remember. But hey, we'll find a way, if not. It's telling me, of course, to go through the closed stretch of road up there. Guys, if you are just now tuning in, I'm seeing a little bit more of a higher number right now than what I had maybe 20 minutes ago. Rewind 20 minutes back. I'll show you some of the drone footage that I got from here in Frankfort. And I also showed you this Riverview Park. Yeah, Riverview Park. I went up the levee towards the river. The water is right at the top of the levee. It is crazy. And the water flow is insane. Where we are right now, we are below the water level for the Kentucky River. We are below it. The Kentucky River is on top of that levee. You go to the top of that levee, it's right there. Where we are below that. So if that levee were to have, broken, all of this would be underwater. And there's a few more neighborhoods here in Frankfort to the south that I saw online that were really bad too. So yeah, anyone who is along the Kentucky River here, not just in Frankfort, but downstream from here, even upstream from here, anyone who is along the Kentucky River, anyone who has a house might have darn well lost everything. Not even kidding. Sad. It's too bad. Audio back, good. Yeah, I see all these sandbags over here. That was a weird intersection. I didn't like that. That was weird. Obviously getting back up on high ground now in Frankfort. So away from that flood zone area.